What's going on, everybody? Welcome to part 3 of the 1987 Suzuki LT250R build. I think in this video what we're going to do is this swing arm here is going to go goodbye, as well as these Zilla A-arms that are on here, because those have to go regardless. I'm selling them, and we're just going to get this thing down to essentially a bare frame with the steering column still on. I don't think I'm going to take that off in this video. But without further ado, let's get this thing ready. Alright, so on my 87 LT, this is pretty rigged. I don't understand what he did, but I think I do. This right here is attached to just a bolt going through. The dog bone, which I said in the last video, what it does, connects here, goes out that way, and cuts back in up here, and pivots on this, which it extends further, and the shock comes up from there and rests on that. So where the shock is right now is in the complete wrong spot. It's supposed to be about here. So what I'm going to do to get this off, obviously your LT won't have this problem. I'm going to be unbolting it here, pulling the bolt out, releasing all the tension on this. Then I'm going to take it this bolt the rest of the way out, and that should be free. The brake line is it attached? Yeah, it is attached. I got to pull this off. I was going to do that in the last video, I just never did. So I'm going to pull this off, and the chain I'm actually going to pull off this time. I'm not going to half-ass it like I did with pulling the engine out. I really didn't want to take the chain off, but we're going to do that now so we can get the swing arm off. So, without further ado, let's get on into it. Alrighty guys, so I'm going to start off by removing these two 12mm bolts, and I'm going to take an open end here and take off the brake line. But I realized something, and this bolt that's holding in the shock, well, that is just a bolt. There's no nut on the other end. So I'm just going to hit it through, but I wanted to disconnect this first just in case it crashed and burned to the ground and fell. So I did that first. So now we're going to take these off. So let's get on into that. Alrighty guys, so I got the master cylinder out for the back brakes and the reservoir, but I kind of forgot the fact that there was brake fluid in it. Didn't really think about that, and now it ended up on the ground and I had to clean it. So remember to drain your brake fluid. So now the next thing to do is I'm going to put jack stands underneath this so that when I punch this out right here, the frame doesn't smash into the ground. That makes some sense. Alrighty guys, so as you can see, we got the jack stands underneath it, and I'm going to go on the other side, and I'm going to punch this this bolt out right here. And I just want to capture some video in case something went catastrophically wrong. But here we go. Okay. Interesting. There's 0 bushings in this shock. Alrighty. We're almost past the shock. And I've kind of got 2 more in it. Alrighty. Well, okay, well, I guess the shock didn't really do much. Oh, let's hit you guys. Well, got the bolt out. That's what matters. So we got the bolt out, and I think the only thing holding this in is this. So I guess let's try to drop this too. Let me get the punch. The punch, also known as a screwdriver, which is certainly not the right thing to do. Because this whole thing's all kind of twisted up, it doesn't want to line up. There we go. So close. Okay, I think that's through. That's pretty much through. There we go. Alrighty, that should be. Yep. Alright guys, swing arm's free. Clearly, as you can see, it's on the ground. Oh, man. All right, well, that's off. So now I'm going to start taking apart some things on the swing arm. So, guys, I just wanted to show you how little bushings were in this shock, actually, because look at this. I'm twisting it side to side, and look at that. There was nothing in there. So, this is... that's hacked. That was just thrown in there. I feel like this is not what it's supposed to be. So, yeah, I'm going to take those two bolts out. Oh, my God. So I'm going to take those two bolts out and get this shock out of there. I want to pull this chain slider off. I would like to pull the caliper off and then take the wheels off, take the axle out, but the wheels and axle might be a different video. But I will be taking this out. So let's start by taking the shock out, which is two bolts, or a bolt and a nut, and the caliper off with the brake line. So let's jump into that. Alrighty guys, well, I got the shock out. There's the rear shock here. And this thing was so rigged in there that I didn't even show it on camera, but this right here, let me drop that. This bolt right here with the nut, this was hand tight. I could literally just twist the nut off and the shock dropped out. So, needless to say, I'm glad I never ran it on that because that would hurt a lot if that collapsed and I crashed. So, good thing we are doing this full restoration. So we got this off, and I also pulled the slider off, the chain slider off. It's really hard to record this because, well, it's pretty awkward. But now, as you can see there, all we've got left is to take these off, which I'm pretty sure you can just squeeze these around. There we go. Pull both of these out and disconnect our brake line here. And once we can do that, we can remove this and this, which should relieve the pressure on that. Then these two bolts there hold it on. And the caliper's off, so I'm going to do that, and I'll show you when it's done. Alrighty guys, well, I slaved away and got it done. We got the calipers off, this rotor is in hurting shape. I got to pull that off and the sprocket off still. But the brake line's off, the shock, all of that is off. Now I really need to deep clean this because look at that grime. Wow. So gotta get all this off. Clean it up real nice. Pull the axle off, pull the chain off. But for now, that's done. We'll come back to that on a later date. Now we got to move on to the front end of this thing and tackle the A-arms and the shocks, because right now I just really want frame. So I can take the frame and put it over here so it's not, you know, in the way. But, alright, let's get on to the A-arms. Alrighty guys, well, it's a new day and we're going to be removing the A-arms today. So first we got to remove these shocks. The shocks got to go. I'm going to pull off the wheels and tires first, remove the shocks, remove the brake lines, and then start removing the A-arms. And I think I've got those sold. I'm trading them for a pair of stock A-arms, and it comes with stock tie rods. And I'm also getting a stock rear axle so we don't have that cobulated disaster of an axle. So let's get into first taking off these wheels and tires. Alrighty guys, so now that the wheels are off and the wheels and tires are off, we can now take off those shocks. And I think after I take off the shocks, I'm going to disconnect all the brake lines and everything that's holding the spindles in. Alrighty guys, so as you can tell, clearly we don't have any more shocks on there. We just pulled the shocks off. It was pretty simple. It's just 14 millimeters. Got 2 on either side with a backing nut. Pretty straightforward. Pretty much every ATV has similar suspension to that. So now I guess what we're going to do is tackle the brake lines and take those apart. Alrighty guys, well, my camera wasn't recording, but as you can see here, I've got this brake line disconnected, and I also disconnected this. This is the tie rod. The tie rod is easy. It's pretty simple. Just I believe 14 millimeter or a 12. Let me check. 14 millimeter. That's a 14, and a 12 is the brake line. So now we're gonna remove this spindle. So I'm actually gonna record this time. Alright guys, so I'm not having much luck getting the spindles off, as you could probably have seen in the last clip there. I really can't get these stupid things off, so what I think I'm going to do is take them off the frame first and then try to work them off, because, you know, the ball joints are all weird and all that. So I'm going to unbolt the 4 on each side, and let's see how that goes, because that other part really sucked. So yeah, let's keep going. So that really sucked, but I got one side off, and here are the A-arms. They're not in bad shape at all, but I'm gonna save that disaster for a later day. I'm probably gonna do those off camera, and I'm also gonna do this other side off camera. I almost had the ATV fall over on me because the weight isn't even, but I'm gonna pull this off camera. It's not that difficult. All you gotta do is unbolt, unbolt, and then the control arm right here, or the tie rod. Done. Pretty simple. So I'm going to do that off camera, and we should have just a frame after this. Boom, look at that. She is all taken down to just the frame. So now that she's pretty much down to the frame, minus the brake lines and this the steering shaft and the handlebars and all that, this thing's going to be sent off to go get powder coated, and hopefully we'll discover no cracks. That'd be awesome. But thank you guys so much for watching. Those sucked. Those were okay. Swing arm came off with ease. But those two parts, the A-arms, keeping the spindles and all the components there, those are being shipped, I believe, to New Jersey, as well as those. And in return, front A-arms and control arms. And in the back, we're also going to be getting a new rear axle that's, well, new used stock rear axle, because no more wide. I'm very happy about that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe for more, and have a great day.